There's a 91% chance that blood test was useless. Not wrong, not fake, useless. And the way a single photograph is useless for describing an entire movie. Here's how this usually goes. You've been feeling off for months, exhausted in a way sleep doesn't fix, moods doing things you don't recognize. So you do the responsible thing. You make an appointment, you wait 3 weeks to get in, you explain everything. The fatigue, the fog, the anxiety that appeared out of nowhere. They listen, nod, type something, order blood work. A week later, the portal notification. Everything is within normal range. So here's a question worth asking. If your body feels this different, how did the test come back saying nothing changed at all? Let's actually look at what gets checked. When your doctor orders routine labs, they're running a standard panel. Thyroid, blood sugar, cholesterol, iron, kidney and liver function, all genuinely important, all completely beside the point. Estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, yes, women have it, yes, it matters. Cortisol patterns, DHEA. Your doctor ran a panel that doesn't include a single hormone specific to what you're going through, and then told you everything looks normal. It's the medical equivalent of bringing in a car that's making a horrible noise, and then getting told the cup holders are in great shape. But here's the part that actually explains that 91% number from the opening. Because even when the right hormones are tested, most doctors are still only running it once. A reliability study that tracked repeated hormone tests in the same women found something doctors rarely mention. In postmenopausal women, whose hormones have already settled, a single test was fairly reliable. But in premenopausal and early perimenopausal women, the reliability score dropped to 0.09 out of a possible 1.0. In plain terms, a single hormone test in a woman still early in this transition tells you almost nothing reliable about what her hormones are actually doing. Because hormones during perimenopause don't decline in a straight line. They swing. One day high, 3 days later crashed. A week later, spiking again. So if your blood happened to be drawn on the one calm day, your results look pretty normal. Even if 3 days earlier, you were living through a hormonal category 5. One draw, one day, a system that changes by the hour, measured once and called the truth. And here's the part that isn't an accident. For most of modern medical history, clinical trials and research protocols were built almost entirely around male physiology. It wasn't until 1993 that the NIH was legally required to include women in clinical trials at all. Let that sit for a second. Decades of medical standards built on male data, then applied to female bodies, and the gaps got called a women's problem. They called it hysteria in the 1800s, anxiety in the 1950s, depression in the 1980s. And today, they call it normal blood work. Different century, different language, same message. We don't understand what's happening to you, so we're going to tell you nothing is happening at all. So if a single test can't be trusted, what actually can? The women who get real answers usually stop relying on one snapshot entirely. They start asking for something specific, not just check my hormones, but a full panel more than once across different points in the month. FSH, estradiol, progesterone, testosterone, tested more than a single time. And alongside that, they start tracking what their body is actually doing day by day. Energy, sleep, mood, cycle changes. Because 30, 60, 90 days of real patterns tells a far more complete story than one blood draw ever could. That pattern, in her own words, on her own phone, is evidence. And evidence is harder to dismiss than a feeling. And if finding that provider takes time, the tracking you've already started is evidence you bring with you. It doesn't wait for anyone's permission. There are providers who specialize specifically in this transition, functional medicine doctors, OBGYNs with menopause training. A provider who understands this orders different tests and reads them differently. You walked into that exam room with real symptoms. You walked out with a normal result. And the particular kind of doubt that comes from being told you're fine when you know you're not, that doubt was never about your body being unreliable. It was about a system that ran the wrong test on the wrong day and called it the whole truth. The test was never the whole truth. You were. And you always had more information than any single blood draw ever could.